Michael, Michael, what are
Hold
you
on.
doing?
Hold on a minute.
Oh, okay.
Bite my shiny metal ass.
Okay.
What was
Huh?
that?
What?
What was that?
Well,
Why, why,
I
why
had,
did you have to wait to play that?
well, you haven't heard that there's like new rules on YouTube now. There's certain things you can't say within the first 8 seconds of a show.
What?
And that's one of them. And that's what we're going to talk about on the show today.
We
So,
can't play Futurama clips within
well,
the
not
first
the
8 seconds
first,
of our show.
no, you
Fine.
can't.
I'll go build my own lunar lander with blackjack and hookers. In fact, forget the lunar lander and the blackjack. Screw the whole thing.
Oh my gosh.
It's time.
Okay. It's the Speaking Nerdy podcast with your host, Mr. Mike Shilley.
And my good friend and compadre, Mr. Ricky Pope. You know what's funny, folks? Up to this point, we really didn't know what we're going to offer the show tonight. We were debating on what we were going to do, and then I came across this article that I came in earlier this week, and I dropped the bomb on my good friend Ricky Pope on new rules on YouTube, which is affecting a lot of influencers right now, and maybe it may extend itself to a bigger situation than what we think. But right now, there's new YouTube rules that came out about a week ago, actually in November, that's being enforced now, if I'm reading it correctly.
Sounds like it.
I don't know, but I've just heard about it this past week, and man, gamers and YouTubers are up in arms.
You know what? Tabletop role-playing gamers are up in arms too.
We're going to talk about that tonight too. Yeah.
All gamers are up in arms.
So that's right. So if you're a gamer and you want to complain, this is the show to do it right now.
Definitely.
That's right. So, and we're going to talk about all kinds of other crazy things tonight, but those are our main topics. We'll have some stupid news that I'm not prepared for, so who knows what I'm going to say or how I'm going to say it. But that is our show, and I think we just get into it. Now, you were talking about some D&D stuff that's going on that it's fascinating to me, and for out there, our viewers who are D&D players, you'll find this interesting yourself. Lay it on me, man.
So Dungeons and Dragons, about 20 years ago, laid out this plan. They called it the Open Gaming License. Mm-hmm. Basically, it allowed anyone to take Wizard of the Coast content, be able to utilize that to make new products to sell that would work along with the current Dungeons and Dragons play system.
Okay.
So let's say you had an adventure, or you had a setting that you wanted to create and you wanted to write and you wanted to publish the book, but you didn't want to create a whole gaming system.
Yeah.
You just wanted to use Dungeons and Dragons gaming system, but you wanted to create something new to go along with it.
Gotcha.
Well, that was all covered, and you were able to do it. No royalties needed to be paid.
Yeah.
You didn't have to sign an agreement. You didn't have to get approval. You could just use it. And so this past week, a few weeks ago, Wizards of the Coast announced they were looking at revamping that agreement, that open license. And so then the open license leaked, and a few things came up that were rather interesting, and it became a firestorm for gamers and companies that do just this.
No.
So the idea was, now this new leaked version, now they were going to we're going to have to report everything you make to Wizards of the Coast, so they knew about it. If you made more than $50,000 a year, then you were going to have to report sales of what you actually sold. if you made more than $750,000, you were going to have to pay a 25% royalty on
Oh
the
my
gross.
goodness.
Yeah, on the gross,
On the
not the
gross, not
net.
the net.
Yeah, on the gross
So it sounds like
sales.
so you're
and
gonna yeah,
and
go
that's
ahead.
going to like that one right there could kill 90% of the content makers that do any Kickstarters,
That
because usually if you're a successful Kickstarter
yeah.
in that gaming vein,
Yeah.
they almost always hit $1 million. A lot of times their target is much
Yeah.
lower, but almost every time I've seen one that's successful, it hits $1 million. Well, that automatically means you have to pay, because that is
Yeah.
sales.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though it's kind of convoluted, it's not
Yeah.
exactly sales, but it's kind of sales.
So you
But it's money you earned.
but you gotta throw
So
it to
they'd
Kickstarter,
have to
don't you?
pay. Yeah, well, you already get tagged from Kickstarter like 11%.
Okay.
Then you're going to have to pay another 25% on your
Okay.
gross to Wizards of the Coast. So everybody who does that's already going to be in a hole just from the get-go.
So what's the mindset of this? What do you think is coming? I mean,
Well, a lot of people.
yeah, I mean greed, more money. I mean,
Well, yeah,
but
a lot of people say it's because Hasbro purchased Wizards of the Coast.
oh, I didn't know
And that
that.
it's
That's a big deal. Okay.
yeah. So a lot of people say this is a Hasbro thing.
Okay.
There's one other thing. There's one other note that a lot of people, and this one affects everybody, even if you're like a small timer.
Yeah.
Like you wrote a supplement and you used this open gaming license and you sell it for $1,
Yeah.
and you make $10 a year on
Yeah.
it. They have the right to just reprint what you did and use it and sell it.
Oh my
I
goodness.
can't stand punks like you.
Oh my.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's crazy stuff. And
Wow.
so everybody's up in arms. There's a big Twitter storm about
Yeah.
it, and there was a huge push to get people to cancel their subscriptions to D&D Beyond, which is a virtual tabletop
Yeah, exactly.
that is
Yeah.
owned by Wizards of the Coast. And that was apparently such an effective thing
Yeah.
that like D&D Beyond has been up and down all day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some pages are getting no response. Wizards of the Coast just a few hours ago actually posted a new reply
Gotcha.
saying, we're gonna rethink this now that we're getting some feedback.
That's good. That's good.
We always wanted to get feedback from
I
everyone.
I always like how they use feedback as, for them to back. Well, we got feedback and we listen to the people.
We listen to the people.
So my question is all of this because, like I said, I don't follow D&D as much as I know that you've seen some, you have in the past. So on this type of, how many other, and I know that YouTubers and influencers who do their own D&D off of this, build on top of this platform. But is there any other major, for instance, I know there's some actual, let's put it this way, video games online that takes off from that premise.
Okay, yeah.
There is.
So that was that was a big question mark in this leaked version.
Yeah.
It was a little unclear. So I actually have some friends who do Dungeons and Dragons real play podcasts, and there were some big question marks as to whether or not they could continue doing those at all.
Yeah.
Or if they would be affected by this in some way, which would be a little weird just because if you're doing a real play podcast, I mean, if you're making lots of money on it, then you could fall into one of these other categories. If you're not making any money on it, theoretically, Wizards of the Coast could take your content and republish it themselves. And they'd have the right to do that. That would be weird, but they could do it.
Yeah.
It looks to me like they were really targeting some bigger publishers.
Gotcha.
Because there are some and Wizards says they never intended the open gaming license to be used in this way.
Yeah.
They never intended for large corporations to be started or to use their open gaming license to create a bunch of content.
Gotcha.
But that's
Gotcha.
kind of what's happened.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole series called Pathfinder, which
Yeah.
is basically Dungeons and Dragons 3.5
Yeah.
that was created because Dungeons and Dragons went to version 4 and a bunch of people revolted and didn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
So they took 3.5, revamped it just a little bit.
So they took
called
advantage
it
of
Pathfinder and
Yeah.
used the OpenGL
Yeah.
to do the OGL to do that.
Gotcha.
So that kind of stuff would definitely not happen anymore. The other thing about it is because of the way they're doing it, it's almost retroactive, kind of, meaning that like if you created it in the past and you continued to exist, you basically had to accept their new license.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So in that vein, it would kind of be retroactive. If you were still publishing the same content you used to use,
yeah.
they basically said the old gaming license will no longer exist, period. And everything you continue to do will have to be under the new license. So it was either stop doing anything or accept the new rules.
Gotcha.
So that's another big thing. Is like older things that had already existed for a long time that make lots and lots of money every year would definitely be affected. Some of those companies, one specific that sells Pathfinder, they had basically said because Pathfinder has changed so much over time,
Yeah.
they feel like they basically aren't really using the OpenGL as much.
Yeah.
And they basically just said, we're just going to write our own. It will be standalone by itself. It won't use the OpenGL. And at that point, we will create our own open gaming license so everybody can just use our stuff instead of Wizards of the Coast stuff.
Now, do you think it's the feedback or that statement that opened their eyes, saying, "Wait a minute, there's somebody's gonna, open source
just take our business from us."
Yeah, and you're gonna have a lot of ticked off people because a lot of people. I do know one thing: a lot of people in the D&D community are passionate, and
yes,
and
yes, they are.
And in situations like that, they feel. I guarantee you, and that's the same in the gaming community with me. You feel slighted, and you go, "Okay,
yes,
yeah, we'll."
Oh yeah, it definitely, which I think was interesting because, I'm in a bunch of these little gaming groups.
Yeah,
and I've got gaming podcaster friends that are talking about it, and like one of them basically said, "We've canceled our podcast for right now until we figure out what we can do. We're going to retool the whole show. Yeah. We're canceling what we're doing right now."
That's insane.
And they're small time.
Yeah,
like they are a small time, family friendly Christian.
Yeah.
D&D gaming group.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's small time. They're bigger than our show, but still, they're not like massive. They're not Critical Role. If you know who they are.
Yeah, I know who those are. Yeah.
But but then I'm in this other group that's just like an email group.
Yeah.
It's like a mass email group, and it's like Twitter except it's emails, and it's just this group of people, and like everybody's talking about it, and it's like it doesn't affect their lives at all.
Yeah.
But they're revolting.
Yeah.
For all the people that it does affect.
Well, yeah, I mean, there is a sense of community there. So
yes, absolutely, they are so dedicated that they are just like it is definitely one of those. All I do is play the game, but now I hate Wizards of the Coast because they did this.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Right now there's a lot going on that's affecting influencers like YouTube, Twitch,
Yeah.
and of course YouTube. We were talking about earlier. They've made a big change, and apparently,
You told me, you started
yeah,
telling me about this, and I'm like,
yeah.
what? I have not heard about this at all. And apparently it's a really big deal this week now.
Yeah, this week. I'll just give you a lowdown from what I have read, and we'll just go from there. Just that way, the audience, our viewers out there, kind of see what's going on. So on this article, and I think this is from our friends from the PC Gamer. That's where I first read the article, and of course, Eurogamer is also talking about it too. They said YouTube has been cracking down on swearing lately, and it's basically
Swearing.
swearing.
So when you said swearing, I was
Profanity,
thinking,
yeah.
So we can't say the F word. We can't say the S word.
Yes.
Can't say the C word.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are other words that are bad.
Well,
I'm thinking there's so many things that I hear on regular TV.
Well, yeah, and
what could be bad?
Well, I mean, you
other
can't,
than like the F word.
Well, I mean, you can't refer. I mean, okay, I don't even know if I can. This is the problem. I don't even know I can say this. But let me kind of go a little bit further, and then we can kind of give an idea. It was rules from November. Okay. But last year,
so
demonetizing.
This has been going on for 3 months.
Yeah. They said last year, and this is from Kotaku, they said last year, demonetizing videos that use profanity in their title, thumbnails, their first 7 seconds, or constantly throughout the video.
Oh, or constantly throughout the video.
Yeah,
so
consistently.
Consistent. So it's not just the first 7 seconds.
Yeah, that's what it says from PC Gamer. They said whatever that means is impacting streamers who play mature games and incomprehensibly even affecting videos that were uploaded before the rules were announced. So this is retroactive.
So they're going back to old videos that people have been earning money on for months and months and years.
Exactly. They're saying making
demonetized. Oh my gosh.
Making things even dicier for content creators on the platform, YouTube has now decided to treat all curse words as a basically equivalent. Now it says, so that means whether you're howling the F-bomb or muttering the humble, the other word for, I can't even say the other word. I don't even know if I can say this, but the, what do you usually say? You usually say jack butt. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
the S word.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
The A
word. The A
yeah,
word.
The A. Yeah. Sorry.
Well, we've already used the A word in the show because Bender said it earlier.
Wipe my shiny metal ass.
So that's right. So I don't know how many.
Now for us, we're not monetized. So
no.
What's the worst that can happen?
I don't know. I mean, and so
this could be the one video where we blow up and we actually can start earning money. And
exactly, and then we can't be. Yeah. Hey, but on the plus side, you can say hell and you can say damn.
Okay.
They're no longer considered profanity according to YouTube's laws.
So those two. Well, I was going to say I do exist in a Christian realm. So the idea of not being able to say the word hell with those YouTubers and podcasters that I run around with, that could be a difficult thing. Speaking of spiritual situations.
Well, and also too, I mean, just words that I use, like the. This is what's funny, and what we're experiencing right now, folks, because. Usually in our podcast, we can say whatever we want to do. This is going to be an audio podcast if you're listening. But right now, we're also streaming right now on our YouTube channel. And so even as I speak and you're listening through the podcast, there's certain words that I don't know if I can say or not. And it's just really simple words like, you can't, I guess I can spell it. It's like the difference from poop. Okay. I don't even know if I can say poop, but crapshoot, okay? When I go to the tables and I play the craps, now probably I'm going to still be in trouble for saying that word.
Can we say that?
Yeah.
That is, that's a little unclear, I think.
Yeah,
based
and it's
on what I'm reading.
Yeah, I'm reading the same thing, and those particular, what kind of,
what I read just now was
Yeah.
all words are considered equal.
Yes. So what does that
So
mean?
it used to be, from what I read just now,
Yeah.
it used to be that there was a hierarchy,
Yes.
and you could go from bad words, you could go from acceptable
Mm-hmm.
profanity, like you said, damn and
Yeah.
hell, both are acceptable.
Yes.
Acceptable profanity, and then it had scales. So then it would be like, maybe crap, and maybe,
Yeah.
then there's the S word, and then there's, the F bomb, can't say.
Yeah.
But now all of them are the same.
Well, and how about the words that, people, like darn or heck. I mean, to
I bet those
what,
are acceptable.
but if you can't, but was it you that's read somewhere that you couldn't say, I mean, I'm just going to like all profanities are treated equal across sites, meaning words like CRAP. That's
Yeah.
also, yeah. So to me, it's like, okay, what
Well, yeah,
if a word
if
like that,
CRAP is a word, I don't know, heck and darn, and
yeah, I
I
mean,
don't know what other
I,
you know got
I mean,
dandruff, some of it itches.
exactly. Exactly. So that's the problem, and also not the other problem is too is, I mean, in jest I understand. I don't want to hear I don't want strong language and
Yes,
profanity blaring everywhere,
yes,
and that's fine. But there has to be some I don't know, some common sense or maybe some I don't know. I'm not for sure. The other thing is too, the same rules
but
apply.
now to be
Yeah,
clear,
yeah,
you can say all those things
you
and have your
can
video on YouTube.
right now.
You just well, right now, okay.
Now this
There
is
we go.
where
There's a slippery.
that's a
There could
slippery
be
slope.
a slippery slope, but
Yes,
as of today,
as for
you can
today,
say all those words.
yeah.
You just can't make money on that video.
And that is that because because right now on YouTube, you can, I mean, come on, folks. I mean, I have never seen so much advertising in my life when watching one video. I mean,
Oh my gosh.
now unless you have YouTube, what is it? YouTube Prime, YouTube, whatever
YouTube
the
Red.
red.
Is
Well,
that
I don't even they call it red anymore. But
I don't know.
anyway,
There's a word for it where
yeah,
you
but
pay to see no commercials. Yeah, I
which
don't
I
remember what it's called.
but on top of that,
But but okay, so
okay,
you're not going to be monetized.
yeah.
But that doesn't mean they're not going to play commercials.
Exactly.
It
Good.
just means they're
Yeah.
not going to pay
They're going to
you.
pay you. Exactly.
Because I have seen commercials on my videos,
Yeah.
and I'm not monetized.
Yeah.
So it's not just so it's not so that's the big question. Is this to protect advertisers because the advertisers don't want to be associated with these words?
See, and
Because if
that's,
that's the case, then YouTube is going to lose money
well, that's my
because
thought.
YouTube is no longer going to play ads on those videos.
Well, see, and the thing
Or
is that,
or is this just
well, this is why I
that
go back.
you can't make money on it?
Well, that's the thing. It's all about advertisements now. Let's think about this. Now, we started for 8 seconds and it's monetizing, but again, if it's all about getting, if you're right about this, and I think you're hitting, the, the head on the nail here, is that, let's say, for instance, okay, we're not monetizing, okay? It's, and let's say we just flippantly say whatever we want to say, and it's not going to affect us because bottom line, we're not monetizing. Okay?
We're not making money now.
Any money.
We won't make money later.
So the situation is, let's say advertisers go, well, wait a minute, you're putting our commercials on these videos and listen to the language, and we don't want to be associated with that. Is this a prelude for something that eventually is going to happen because they're just wanting to bend to the will of the advertisers? That's what I'm
I don't
wondering in
know.
all of this. And so in the gaming industry, it's also applying to violence. So the same rules apply to any violent content uploaded, okay,
Wait,
to the
wait,
site
wait.
as well.
Now, do we have a definition of violence?
That's the problem. And that's the problem. They said that the same rule applies to any violent content uploaded to the site as well with video game violence, now specifically being highlighted by YouTube. Now,
So no Call of Duty on YouTube anymore.
I don't know. Prior to these new restrictions, this policy applied to content showing real world violence and not in game violence. Let's see. Now,
Well,
while it,
and see, even that is vague because I'm thinking, okay, can I fly a TIE fighter or
Mhm.
can I fly an X-Wing and blow up the Death Star? Is that
is
violence?
that violence?
Because you didn't see blood.
Yeah.
Or is it I can't sharpshoot a guy from 1,000 yards on Call of Duty,
Hmm.
or is it that I just can't use a chainsaw to hack somebody up in some random
Yeah.
horror video game? What what is violence?
Well, and that's the thing. And what's being and the problem you're running into is that you're no longer, I mean, like, Facebook, the same thing. I mean, everybody knows we call them, Facebook jail, but basically
Yeah.
it's all computers, AI, algorithms,
Yes.
algorithms and all that good stuff, So
And they
basically
always get it wrong.
and Skynet, basically, our good friend Skynet, he's deciding what we can have on and what we can't have. And so who gets banned, who gets dropped, who gets kicked out. And so that's part of the problem too. You don't have human beings. Used to you did. Now I don't know
Yeah.
what they do now when I don't know what happens when you basically you come against it, or basically you protest it. I forget the word that they use when you're wanting to dispute. Basically, you're going to dispute
Yeah.
a ruling that
Right.
your content is coming down for this reason because of the violation of blah 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 yakety smackety. So, but the thing is about this, and you can talk about freedom of speech if you want to. I'm not going to get all of that, but
Yeah.
but
We don't get too political around
no,
here.
but when you start looking at that, as far as, because we do talk about content creation, people who do shorts on YouTube,
Oh, yeah.
media creators, gamers, whether it's board gamers or whether it's video gamers. This right here can really mess with some people's livelihood if it goes any
Oh, yeah.
further. Because the thing is, we're talking about earlier the first 8 seconds, but the information is when it says consistently. So what's that trigger number? What's consistently? You got
See,
four
this is
strikes, you got
this
five
is
strikes,
the
you got 6 strikes.
this
I mean,
is
maybe,
the F bomb in
yeah,
the F bomb in a PG-13 movie.
yeah,
You can have an F bomb in a PG-13
yeah.
movie, but if you have two, you might be rated R.
It might be rated R. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
yeah. When you say consistently, now I'll be honest. There are some YouTubers I don't watch because they do drop the F bomb all
yeah.
the time, and
Yeah,
I'm just like, just not my thing.
yeah. Me
Well,
neither.
it's like Peacemaker. Peacemaker obviously could not get monetized
No,
on YouTube right now.
no, they can't. But what do they do with but they have these red band trailers, that are basically,
Yes,
on YouTube, which is basically when they said red band trailers, that pretty much it's not
means
censored.
that means
Yeah.
there's going to be an F bomb or there's going to
So,
be some nudity or something.
but
Yeah,
that's from, yeah.
that's interesting. Um, I,
So
that's going
what
to
do we,
cause all sorts of weird.
yeah, I mean, what are you going to do with that? And that's the problem right now is it's what social media, a lot of times they're not really defining on the same thing with other social media platforms, is that they're not specific. They
Well, and
it's they don't want to be.
this well they don't want you to know
Yeah,
what you can and can't do explicitly,
explicitly. Yeah,
because if you did, then you could figure out a way to get around it.
yeah, I guess so.
That's their reasoning. That is absolutely Facebook's reasoning
Yeah.
for everything they do.
Yeah.
Why they won't tell you why they'll say, "Oh, you violated this rule."
Yeah.
Well, in what way did I violate that rule? Well, I can't tell
Yeah,
you
exactly.
in what way you violated that rule, because if I told you how you violated that rule, you could figure out a way to not violate that rule, but still violate that rule. I mean, that's their theory.
Yeah.
Because I've gone around and around. I had a Facebook page that had some monetization.
Yeah.
We made ones of dollars every month. And then we lost it.
Yeah.
And they couldn't tell us what we had done wrong. All they
No.
would tell us was that we had done something wrong.
Gotcha.
And I'm like,
You got to
how do I not do something if you don't tell me what I did?
Yeah.
So that's the same thing here.
Yeah.
If you're going to say consistently, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Does it mean I can't use the F-bomb at all? Does that mean I can only say it once every 5 minutes? I need explicit rules.
Yeah.
Well,
and we're not,
but just that idea.
But even with us, let's say we do a pretty clean show, even if Christian nerds. I mean, there's times where you'll say CRAP, which is nothing to me. I mean, it's just that, or just some of what I call just you're not using profanity. It's the play words, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
To emphasize your either displeasure or excitement about something.
Yes.
In a non verbal anyway, but yeah, I think that is. I'm interested to see what's going to happen in the next several months, because is this going to grow, and is this the Pandora's out of the box? Is this something?
Now, I think this is interesting. The violence thing, I think, is very interesting.
Yes, me too.
Because recently, Twitch had a mass exodus.
Yeah.
Of people going over to YouTube.
I know.
To do their streaming.
Because YouTube was trying to promote their streaming.
Yes. YouTube was encouraging gaming streamers to come over. And now you're telling them they can't play violent games. You have to define what that means.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that Call of Duty? Is that House on Silent Hill? I don't know.
I mean, what is it? Yeah,
I'm not a huge video gamer. You know that. So I don't know all the games that are out there, but I know there are horror genre games that are super gory.
Wait, but there's a lot of,
and then there are war games that are really gory, and some that are not so much. You don't see everything.
Yeah,
what is violence?
I mean, there's blood in video games, period. So is that violent? Is using a rifle?
Blowing up a spaceship? Yeah, is blowing up a spaceship equivalent to shooting a guy? Yeah,
and so that's the problem we're going to run into. A lot of YouTubers, gamers, streamers. That's what's going to run into, and so. And I don't know.
We are never this timely on our show.
No, we're never this timely. We're not.
We always talk about things weeks or months after they.
Yes, I know. That's right. The Hindenburg.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. The Hindenburg just exploded out there, and the next thing.
We just watched Iron Man 1 this week.
That's right.
Let's review.
That's right. The Japanese surrendered yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So I don't know.
It's interesting stuff this week with rights and how people are going to have to deal with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, right now it's I'm sure there's a lot of even with the DoD community you have going on within the the gaming community, as far as
Yeah.
the video game community. I'm sure there's going to, especially, they have a lot of publications. I mean, you think about IGN, GameSpot, they also, a lot of their stuff they do not on their website, but they do it on YouTube. Now, I don't know. They're more of advertisers and media type of stuff, so I'm not for sure I don't know how monetization works with them. But, a lot of times some of these companies like Sony and Microsoft, they will contribute to influencers out there who play games and, want them to review games. And the thing is, what's going to happen to people who make money on YouTube reviewing games? What's going to happen then? Because a lot of these people, they make a living off of this. And so I don't know. I think things are going to be a lot more interesting. I hope I'm wrong. I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's going to just stay where it's at. I think we're going to see more and more advertisement. We're going to see more and more restrictions, and the good old days of YouTube is going to vanish.
The wild west of YouTube is going to vanish.
Those are the good old days. But anyhow,
my dad is like 80 years old.
Yeah,
and he said the other day, he said, "Yeah, I just discovered YouTube. That's pretty cool. I can watch just about anything I want to on there." So,
and they just landed on the moon yesterday.
I hope my dad doesn't watch the show.
Oh, I don't think anybody does, so I'm not really worried about it. Well, I don't know. It's just, he's just discovered YouTube. Well, my son Ricky has a show.
Maybe I should check that out.
Oops. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Man. So do we have any other good stuff out there? Man, this is
just a bit of nerdy news if you haven't.
Yeah, let's go ahead. We've got some more stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, just some quick nerdy news. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania dropped a new trailer.
Yes.
Just on Monday. Have you seen it yet?
I have not seen it yet.
It's a pretty interesting trailer. We get to finally see Kang in real action.
Oh.
And he has blue face.
Exactly. Okay.
Which is kind of interesting because his blue face, like it's like a shield or something, because it's like it's blue and then it like goes away and then you just see him for real. And then the other interesting thing is, you know who MODOK is. We've talked about MODOK on this show before.
Yes. Yeah.
We finally are going to get a live action MODOK.
Really?
Yes. There's 2 really short clips of MODOK in the trailer, and it's interesting. He is apparently being played by the guy who played the Wasp, the bad guy in Yellow Jacket. The guy who played Yellow Jacket in the last Ant-Man movie.
Okay.
Which is not a comic book thing at all. Okay. So my guess is this is going to be the new origin story, because Yellow Jacket like disappeared. He like shrank down to nothing and disappeared. Yeah. So spoiler alert there if you haven't watched that movie. So my guess is that is how he becomes MODOK. It's a little unclear on how that all works, but that's going to happen. It does look like Scott Lang is being forced to do some things by Kang against his will to save his daughter. So that's sounds like the premise is Scott Lang is trying to save his daughter.
Yeah.
And the other thing there is, if you've seen any memes lately where it said where that says something about I don't have to win, we both just have to lose.
Yeah.
That quote from this trailer.
Gotcha.
So that's a new meme thing that's going around.
Gotcha.
I don't have to win, we both just have to lose. Yeah. So but anyway, that's a new trailer, just came out. Looks really good.
Awesome.
Those are kind of the big 2 things.
Yeah.
We actually get to see real Kang. My only concern is Kang is kind of supposed to be the big bad for, this whole set of the next phase or 2. And now, but we're going to blow him by having him be the big bad in a movie.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how all that's going to pan out. I mean, I know
Yeah.
there's supposed to be multiple Kangs. That's the idea. So maybe this is only one Kang,
I don't know. I don't know.
but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, and then right now on Star Wars, we just had the third episode of the Bad Batch, which
Yes.
I've watched, and
It's really
it's
good.
really good. So I think that would be something down the road we will do a review on down the road. I think that would be some really good content and learning a lot more stuff about the clones and their struggle.
Omega grew up a little bit.
Yeah, she's a older,
Yep.
a little older.
That surprised me. That I was like, oh, she's like much older now.
Yeah, she's mature in a little bit, but
Yeah. I mean, yeah, a little bit.
But there was some good stuff in it. I mean, and
Yeah, it really was.
There were other clones, and I guess we could save this for another show. But there's specific clones that you remember from the Attack of the Clones, or from I guess you want to talk about the prequels. Commander Cody, is in there, and a lot of different clones are starting to deal with how the Empire is treating the very people that they feel like they're protecting. So you see that struggle, and it's what I love about this series is they're dealing with the clones after the Clone Wars, and this in between the Clone Wars and New Hope, and what's happening to the clones. They're still being loyal. They're still being
replaced.
faithful. Yeah.
They're being replaced by real people.
Yeah.
And they have to deal with, we're doing all these things that, are we the bad guys?
Yeah. They're
that question.
Yeah.
They're having to ask that question of themselves.
I mean, even with Order 66 that was implanted in their mind, they're still wrestling. They're still wrestling with how the Empire is handling this new era of bring order to the universe, basically.
Yes.
So I will be doing a review here pretty soon on that. I forget how many episodes. I think it's several.
Like 16, I think.
Yeah. But they're very short.
Episode 3.
But they seem very short. I mean, they're like
they're like 24
minutes. So,
yeah.
But anyhow, I haven't had a chance to see that. Check it out on Disney Plus. Mandalorian, I think, should be coming out is it in February the Mandalorian's supposed to be coming out, or if I'm thinking of something else?
I think that's right.
Well, let's take a look at it, folks. Let's figure out what is happening. Mandalorian season 3. Let's see. Let's see. Number 3. It says March the 1st, 2023 is supposed to be the first episode. At least IMDb is what they're saying on that.
Gotcha.
Also, too, it's interesting too, and I'm gonna totally mispronounce his name. Giancarlo Esposito, the guy who plays Moff Gideon.
Oh, okay.
He wants to play Xavier on the X-Men.
Okay. Interesting choice.
I think he would do good. I guess I don't have the photo, but a fan has actually basically fan art, and it looked really good. But he's a good actor, and he said in it he said, I would like to play a good guy for once. And what's funny, I've seen him on interviews, and he's a pretty good guy. I mean, he's a nice guy, and so here, this nice guy who can play some of these awesome, evil, terrible characters, and he does it so well. And so I guess he wants a shot at being a hero of some kind, or at least a good guy. So
nice.
That'd be interesting there. So,
well, sticking with the Disney-owned properties, even though most people don't realize it, Disney owns the Alien franchise because they own Fox.
That's
And
true.
a movie that is currently entitled Alien Romulus is going to start filming in February. A new Ridley Scott alien film.
Interesting.
Ridley Scott's going
Okay.
to serve as the producer.
Really?
So, yep. So we will have to wait and see what that's going to pan out to be. I bet that name changes.
I think so
I bet
too.
that's just a working title.
Yeah, that has to be. And also too, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever is supposed to be coming out. Is it
Oh,
next?
hitting Disney Plus, I think next
Yeah, it's
week.
hitting next week. So we have not seen it. I haven't seen it. And so I'm curious how well it will play. That might be another topic for us to do a review on. But because I'm interested to see how they carry it on without Bosman. And hopefully, as far as I know, I mean, people.
I've heard good and bad.
Yeah, I have too.
Unfortunately, the bad I've heard is from the guys who hate everything. So
okay, that's true.
it looks like it looks like February 1st.
Okay,
So it's not next week. I thought
not
it was
next week.
I was thinking it was like the 19th or 20th.
I thought so too, but they may have.
But I guess it's actually going to be next month.
They may have pushed it back some.
Yeah, most of the bad I've heard is from the guys who complain about everything.
Yeah.
But I've heard good stuff from other people. So
yeah, good deal. Yeah, I know that we next week we'll be doing some stupid news. This week I just felt like we just needed to talk about, everything, all the crap in our heads, and this was a major one that was, it's funny. We just had a conversation
you
before
said
the show.
crap.
Oh no! Oh,
Demonetized.
No! Oh my god! Oh man!
I don't know if we can play that clip anymore.
Oh my! Oh my!
You can do that. Oh no!
We'll never be.
No. Yeah, never. Nobody's going to pay us any money for this. I was going to say it again. Anyway. But yeah, so folks, if you are interested, you always can give us some money. But anyhow, more importantly, we are on speakingnerdy.com. There you can get all our podcasts.
Yes.
You can watch, you can listen. Of course, we're on YouTube as far as I know. And for right now, we also have Facebook. We're also on Instagram. And I started doing a little tweet here and there. So you can catch us on all those things. And our Talk Ticks, you can find us on Talk Ticks also, whatever.
Check the tweets.
Check the tweets. So in any way, so I don't have anything else. Do you?
I don't have anything else, my friend. Maybe
Yeah,
we should play the video out.
I think we should do that.
This has been the Speaking Nerdy podcast with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
And my good friend and compadre, Mr. Ricky Poe. Well, I'm hoping that things go well because I'm really concerned about whether or not we're going to shut down or not. What the heck just happened? Oh, can I say heck?